Say, Mark, you want to give us a quick intro?
Yeah, man. All right, you guys ready?
We're ready.
Okay. Hey, guys, welcome to another episode of On the Range Podcast. My name is Mark Kelley with Kelley Defense. I'm joined by my lifelong friend and co-host, Rick Hogg from War HOGG Tactical. How's it going, Rick?
It's going, buddy. Super excited for this episode.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a great episode. Someone we've been wanting to get on the show for a long time. Great business partners with us. Why don't you go ahead and do the introduction, buddy?
Yeah, so we got Clint Hoover with A-TACS Camo is our guest today.
I was going to go back here in the back to the other set and go grab one of my flags, but
that looks good though.
It's a million degrees out there.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're tight, Clint. Don't let no trade secrets about your studio. You know.
Oh yeah.
So I guess that's where you work every day, right there.
Yeah, this is where the magic happens for when in the office.
That's a good spot though. That looks nice.
Well, it's, I've got all this paraphernalia and my freaking wife won't let me hang it up at the house, so it ends up here.
But here's the thing, Clint. It's a quasi-museum, man. You've got some awesome,
nice swag.
Honestly, you don't even see the other half of the wall. No. He's got some cool stuff, man. So, yeah.
Like I said, since I spend half my life here, you may as well make it comfortable.
Roger that.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Then just put a good lock on the door because the SF Association will be down there trying to scoop up your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Some of the stuff we have in the back of our stuff, Rick, that's a great point that we make sure the stuff that's not supposed to be here or that was acquired, the usual way, it's not in view. But,
that's it, man.
That's kind of the risk you take, I guess.
So, and I won't steal all your thunder, Clint, but here's the deal. Between War HOGG Tactical and Kelley Defense, A-TACS is a phenomenal industry partner.
Oh, yeah.
Always sitting there, mutual support both ways. So, Clint, super excited to have you on board. Super excited to, for you as my friend, I won't say business partner, but industry partner. And, yeah, dude, hats off to you. So let's kick the show off, man.
Well, I'm definitely real excited to be on with you guys, both of you. I've gotten to know you both over the last year or so. Really, some of the success and the momentum that we're gaining, really back with A-TACS is, since I retired from the Army and came on with A-TACS, I just have so great connections still within the industry or within the community, with you, Rick, and you, Mark, and so many. We'll probably hit a few of them while we're talking.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we will. Clint, you just want to give the listener viewers just a quick intro on you, just so they know a little bit about you.
Yeah.
Whew, boy, these things usually, this little diatribe will go for a while, but I'll try to keep it short.
No, man.
I did 25 years of service. Most of that as starting out as actually I started out in the National Guard, and I was in one of the SF Guard units up in Colorado as what they called an NQP, non-qualified guy, but I was assigned to a team. Stayed there for a little while and enjoyed, it just got me very motivated being around those guys. Decided to come on to active duty. Just to cut the chase, and said, hey, I want to go to SF. And at that time, you couldn't do that. So I said, where else can I go to get ready for, the SF community or whatever? And they said, Ranger Regiment. And I said, man, sign me up. So I was already a medic, ended up going down to Hunter Army Airfield, served down in 1st Ranger Battalion for a while. Again, serving there at that time, just a lot of legacy guys, legend guys down there, everybody from Doc Donovan and Broman, and they're endless. Ended up leaving the Ranger Regiment, finishing up and moving on to, did some DEA stuff for a while down in the islands and down in Sauk South, and did that for a little while. and got me reinvigorated to get ready for SF. So attended the Q course, ended up in 3rd group as a weapons guy, spent a number of years there, really got to do what I wanted, was travel the world, get to go to a lot of different places, meet a lot of different people. And I truly understood what the mission was. I was not confused, of all the different missions, I really liked the idea of unconventional warfare, foreign internal defense. I wanted to go out there and interact and see what was going on out there in the world. So, I got the up close and personal on that.
Oh, I can imagine.
So, spent a lot of time, just in that time period, probably traveled to at least 25 countries, something like that. Spent quite a bit of time there, deployed a lot. Really enjoyed it. Did some podium time in the Q course for a little while as a weapons instructor. Going back a little bit, I worked in airborne school for a little while, trained some infantry officers for a bit. Ended up doing a little stint with a thing called the Combat Application Training Course, which was an AWG program for marksmanship during the GWAT. At the beginning part, they really said, man, we got to up our game on our weapons handling. So they started this program. I was picked for that. Really enjoyed doing that. Worked with some great people. A lot of former soft guys, of course. Everybody there was either from regiment, SF, or unit, something like that. Did that for a bit and finished up my time. Actually, I was thinking as I was getting out, I went, man, I really enjoy teaching people stuff. So I started a little company, a training company called Black Skull Tactical Applications. Taught some pistol, carbine theory, designated marksman, a little precision rifle. Did a bunch of different stuff. Worked for a number of companies, had some sponsors, really enjoyed doing that. While that was happening, I ended up, through a friend from the Ranger Regiment, Jim Gilliland, ended up meeting the owner of A-TACS Camouflage at the time. And, I guess they say the rest is history. I ended up coming on and doing most of the business development on the A-TACS side for A-TACS. And man, that has really opened up the industry for me because I've met just a ton of people that own a lot of companies, a lot of military-owned companies, and that's just led to all kinds of stuff with us with A-TACS, to include the tactical games, meeting you, Mark, and Rick, and just a ton of other people through the tactical games.
Awesome, Clint. So for me, again, I always tell all my service members, hey, thank you for your service.
Yeah, absolutely,
appreciate what
brother.
you did. So what, I know you got, is Black Skull, is that still running? Are you still doing that? Or is that just kind of been backburned?
It's still kind of running. I still have connections that I was working different business initiatives through that company, and those people still reach out to me and do a lot of, since, I'm, A-TACS is based here at Fort Benning, Columbus, Georgia, so I'm here in Columbus, and, the film industry is exploding in Atlanta, as most of us know. So I've been up and actually done a few things with the film industry, got brought on The Walking Dead season 8 and 9 as a weapons handling expert. They had some issues up there with some people with weapons handling, and they wanted to bring in some people that had real world experience. And boy, being an SF weapons guy just got me right to the top of the list. So ended up not only, assisting and training some of the guys with the weapons handling, but ended up being on camera in season 8 and 9.
Awesome.
So if you look real close, I'm in there in some shots and stuff, shooting some guns. Also did some consulting on a show called Valor, which was loosely based on the 160th. Didn't run too long, but I did that. And then a few other things that I do with consulting and stuff on advertising, things like that.
Yeah. You got to love the Hollywood side, man. It's a totally separate, crazy world that unless you're there, have done it, it's hard to explain because it's like its own world, man. Crazy.
It certainly is.
So are you like a card-carrying member of the Screen Actors Guild?
No. No.
I would love to be in one of those union meetings. I can only imagine. I bet they don't pay those underlying guys hardly anything, do they?
Man, I'll tell you what, I spent a very short amount of time up there, and Rick was right. It is a very, the atmosphere is very different than what we're, used to in the military. It is very different handling with people that you're dealing with up there. People take their positions very, very seriously. You stay in your lane. You get out of your lane, you will get squashed very quickly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Do you have a IMDb page or IMDb credits?
No, I actually kind of started to toy around with that thing, but like I said, the stuff, it was kind of, I want to just say feast or famine. Either it was boom, 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 it was all happening once, or I was off to something else and busy with something else. So I really didn't get stuck just in that lane. Have done a lot of firearms training. Really, I had aspirations of, getting out there and teaching large classes. And I had some military contracts and some great big classes, work with ABSOC, work with some airborne units and stuff like that. Got out big classes, 30, 40, 50 people. But most of my firearms training goes right back to really what's necessary, which is, couples, man, wife, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend.
Absolutely.
Very small classes that people really wanted to come out and learn from somebody that could just take them through the whole. I want to know everything. I need to know what gear I need, what equipment, how do I set it up, some real good fundamentals training. And really, that was one of the reasons why I got out there so much. And people were like, man, I see how, the whole, slow, smooth as fast thing. But they're like, how are you shooting so accurately and quickly? You're just so much faster. And I mean, of course, that's just being on the range all the time, being there 2-3 times a week on the range, you get honed in real good. So, but your gear is set up correctly, how it works. And they started asking, where'd you get the holster? How do you set up this? Why do you do that? And it started leading me. At that time, I was kind of like a consultant for A-TACS. So I was already starting to learn all these companies that were out there. And, that kind of sparked this idea. I said, man, through the film industry and through the firearms training, I think I want to try to sell some of this gear. As an influencer, people were asking me, what should I buy? And I would definitely try to guide them the right way. And my way is my way. Other people do their thing their way. But, if they want to learn from me and they say, wow, I'm picking up these skills you're throwing down. I like it. I'm shooting better. I want that holster. I want that belt, or all these different products that are out there.
Oh yeah.
Such
as the Templar's gear in the A-TACS Ghost. So.
Oh yeah, I love the Ghost.
A good looking rig. Good looking rig.
Yeah, buddy.
And, with that, not only going to SHOT Show here in the States, I'm starting to get to be a veteran. I think I'm at like 12 years in a row.
Wow.
But I also go to the IWA show, which is in Nuremberg, Germany, just about every year, and get to meet guys like that. The Templars Gears guy, a friend of Rick's, C2R is over there.
Yep.
Warrior Salt Systems. I mean, there's a ton of them over there. So great companies, get to meet those people as well in that European market.
We have a lot of guys that are wanting to get into business, like Rick and I and yourself, coming out of the service, coming out of law enforcement. And we always like to see what the big challenges you had to overcome, or the big learning curve you experienced, transitioning out of the military, or even if it's a law enforcement guy, into the business world. What was your biggest hurdle?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, they keep coming, Every day is a learning experience. Every day is a learning experience. And, but the thing is, sadly, I'm a little bit of a workaholic, man. I love what I do. Being in this industry and being around the people that I'm around, I'm kind of a 24/7 guy. People call me at 8 o'clock at night and want to talk, these business owners, things like that. We get to be very friendly. Mostly just what you said, Mark, a lot of this experience that's coming out of the veteran community, the law enforcement community, is amazing. These guys come out and say, I've got this idea for this new thing and I want to get started. coming from being an end user, man, I can stay on azimuth, man, I can walk some guys through the woods. But when it came to how do I make this widget become a reality, that part of it was something that I really, when I came in at A-TACS, I knew I was out of my element. I needed to learn fabrics. I needed to learn printing techniques, manufacturing. There was just a gamut of things that I had to learn, that it was time to shut up and listen. And more importantly, relationships. Relationships is a big thing out here in this industry. You got to know who does what, how it gets done, and make sure you're taking care of those relationships to make it happen. Yeah. So, man, I don't know if I could nail one hurdle down, Mark. There's been a lot of them, but learning curves. Just recently, with the A-TACS Gear Store that I've been running, I just sat down over a weekend and deep dove into setting up a Wix website, man. I learned every button, figured it all out, and after that, I was like, shoot, by Sunday night, I was like, okay, launch,
wow.
And it turned on, and I was like, holy smokes, that looks pretty good, for a freaking novice.
Yeah.
No, it's spot on, Clint. That the site looks great. Just to kind of caveat what you're saying, if a guy's looking to get out, I think couple things, couple key points you hit. Relationships. I did not harness my outside relationships well enough when I was in the military, if that made sense. So that would definitely, sustain on that one. And then really, you hit up a key point, that education. So it's one of those, I got it. You don't know what you don't know. But if you're looking to go into something like manufacturing, golly, man, and especially if you want to manufacture goods in the U.S., there's so much stuff to learn. Start that education process now, while a guy's still in, versus, hey, when you step out, because that's game time and you're trying to get things running and you're always playing catch up. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I feel every day is catch up. Every day, because you're learning something new, something else pops up. And it's like every day is a learning experience.
Yeah, let me see if I can bring up your website, so everybody on the YouTube world can take a look at it. You guys seeing that?
Yeah, we got it.
Oh, yeah. And you did that in one weekend.
Yeah, the template was pretty much already there, of course, as you know. We did have the gear store set up. There was a certain way that I kind of wanted to once we turned it back on, and of course, due to the painful, this industry thing that's going on with the virus right now. Oh, my goodness. Shipping and making sure things are getting to places on time became a very difficult to make sure, guys, and that's one of the reasons why I said right up front, hey, guys, if you're going to come in here and order something, make sure if you want, contact me. And get the skinny before you hit the freaking, shopping cart button, and make sure you're aware of what's going on, because when they started cutting down, flights, airlines having problems, this is a lot of shipping, all the shipping that's going on. So that was one thing that I wanted everybody to make sure you do understand. How difficult this is right now. Yeah. Everybody's having difficulties, and it starts way back all the way from greige or gray goods and fabrics to vinyls, plastics. Oh my gosh. I mean, the list is endless. And that's one thing with A-TACS that I really learned was all the different substrates. We're not just dealing with webbings and nylons and ripstops. We're dealing with vinyls and plastics, gun skins, hydrographics. It's just, and each one of those are their own set of problems, but it's fun. Like I said, I enjoy doing this. So,
well, you did a bang up job. That website looks amazing, and you've always had a great line of stuff on there. It's my first stop if I'm ever looking for any kind of gear. I know you got a lot of industry partners that are putting their stuff on there as well, but it looks fantastic. It looks really good.
Yeah, I kind of started with a base. I do have one company that I'm working with a lot. You see it on there, the Ops brand. But I have probably, and like I said, I turned it back on not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. And the views on that site, when I'm looking at my dashboard, have just went through the roof. I mean, it's amazing how many people are coming in looking at that thing right now. We had a first blow of orders that came through, but I have probably 6 veteran-owned businesses right now that I'm talking with that I'm going to start uploading those products. and they're very excited. They're A-TACS products already. I mean, companies like McReese Precisions, Notch Gear. Just talked to Paul this morning. We'll be adding some Notch Gear hats on there. 0241, which does a lot of pullovers, net gaiters, baklavas, all kinds of stuff in A-TACS. So 0241, Sean, he's a former Marine. We're going to add him on there.
We're not going to hold that against him, by the way.
He's a good one. Yeah. So he's pretty easy to deal with. Good. We also have Chris up at Snake Eaters, which, man, I'm telling you what, I'm a big Snake Eaters fan, man. I absolutely love their belts. You know, all the things that I ever wanted in a good, comfortable belt, that Snake Eater belt is absolutely amazing. I really like it. That's the one I run right now. He's got some plate carriers that does a lot of these burros, the magazine holders and stuff. So a lot of those are getting added very quickly. Just as fast as my little fingers are moved during the evening, I'm adding products on there. So
no, I was just going to say for the viewers and listeners, man, hey, keep checking back, you know, at the A-TACS Gear Store, because like Clint's saying, with that stuff being refreshed, hey, what was there yesterday, you know, will kind of be new and improved tomorrow. So
yeah. I've been on it. I'm usually here doing business development, talking to our brand partners and stuff during the day. You know, not only, you know, we have the brand A-TACS, but we have two other brands. So that's Raider Concealment, which falls on the hunting side, and we have a 15-year-old TV show with that's completely being retooled right now. We have a major, you know, clothing brand that's getting launched through Habit with them. We've got Next Camouflage, which is a leaves, limbs, and sticks. Man, it keeps us pretty busy. I stay pretty much in my lane, mostly on the tactical, military, law enforcement side. But man, we've got all kinds of things hopping and popping around here.
Well,
it's always something.
We'll certainly put your links and everything in the show notes for the new gear store that's up and running. And, we'll make sure that anybody that you want us to link in there, we'll do that as well. Because I know, like you said, you brought up a good point with all the hunting. And you had one with Browning, correct, with the camo pattern. It's all on the gear store and the website. So, we'll make sure we'll have links to that. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's it. Go ahead, Rick.
No, I was just saying, you know, as far as the gear store goes and adding, you know, new companies, new products, stuff like that. What else, you know, are you looking to go? I know we talked about Templars and C2R Fast. Are you looking to try to put any of their stuff on there, or are you going to let them kind of deal with that directly?
At least for now, you know, the European market, you know, I'm kind of, let me tell you, I'm using some organic growth right now while we're having, you know, at least while the country gets its, you know, regroups in its footing on, you know, just the industry speeding back up, because the shipping really became the Achilles heel, is getting stuff to people. So I've kind of opened it back up. I wanted to see what it was going to do, get these products out here to people that are looking for them. You know, we've got a very loyal following on the A-TACS side, but sometimes it's hard to find those products. And that's what the gear store was for, was to try to get these where we sometimes get ignored in some other places. You know, this gear store is mainly A-TACS products, but I started adding a lot of the solids in as well, because, you know, Ghost is super cool. I know, Rick, you like the Ghost stuff, but shoot, a lot of guys come in and say, hey, I like Ghost. I'm going to get a pair of Ghost pants, but I think I want to get a jacket I can wear all the time. So I want a wolf gray jacket. Yeah. So last night we added some level 5 jackets onto the website: gray, ranger green, coyote brown, you know, some of the solid colors as well. So guys that like to mix and match that Ghost pattern, when we did that pattern, Philip and I here from A-TACS, we started looking at the popularity. You know, wolf gray was the new black, and everybody was into wolf gray. So we said, let's do a grayscale version of the IX pattern. And man, I'm telling you, when I see a SWAT team out there that's you know, all in Ghost, and they're complementing it with, you know, gray footwear, you know, gray belt, stuff like that, that's the direction we wanted it to go, and it looks amazing. You know, it's just something completely new. We've got a number of response teams that are buying stuff from us right now. They've got their teams outfitted, and they're calling me saying, hey, you know, we really like this stuff. You know, we're already starting to wear stuff out, so they're coming back for reorders, and those are great. We love here in the local area around Fort Benning. I work as a reserve deputy sheriff here with one of the sheriff's departments. So, you know, I get that contact with I'm real good on the military side. When I start dealing with those guys, they're all like, okay, this guy's, you know, he's legit. He's been there. But when I started getting towards that law enforcement side, you know, I was kind of not in that club. Mm-hmm. But I've been with the reserve deputies here for about 2 to 3 years now, I think, and go out and do training and stuff with them. Get to actually go out and, you know, be with the group and do training, go on rides and stuff. And that's been a real eye opener for me working with the law enforcement side.
Good for you, man.
Yeah,
I bet they're really liking that. Now you get a chance to help them with some training and some firearm stuff as well.
That's actually how it started. You know, I was actually I was out when I was acquisitions. I did acquisitions for small arms for the Army for a little while. The local sheriff's department had arranged we didn't need safety waivers to go out there and go test some weapons and stuff. And they were like, come on out, man. You come shoot that stuff out here. And so we'd go out there and do it. But I got out there and taught a couple of carbine classes. This is after the CAT-C program. And I had already started kind of Black Skull Tactical and was doing that on the side. And a couple of lieutenants come out here and said, man, that was a fantastic class. What would you think about us, you know, getting you credentialed and you come out and do some training and stuff with us? And I was like, you're kidding, right? You know? And so they got me out and got me on the insurance and got me all suited up, and been out and done a lot of active shooter stuff with them, you know, done some training in the schools. That was awesome to be out there with the law enforcement guys doing that and doing some training.
Yeah, and I think it's smart too, Clint, because that's one of the hurdles, you know I sometimes face dealing with my LE guys because they go, oh, you're an Army guy. Yeah. You guys just kill everybody. And then you're trying to have an explanation. No, the U.S. government put a lot of money in me. If anything, I was paid not to shoot. And then, of course, they look at you all dumbfounded. So you got to almost give them an explanation so they understand that, hey, we conducted surgical shooting, just not pitch frags in every room and go from there. So
yeah, that's a great point, because, you know, a lot of guys, you know, a lot of Army guys are, you know, a handful of thumbs when it comes to handguns. Sometimes they're not great with a, you know, a secondary. You know, I really got tuned in on, you know, sidearms. So that side of it, I got much better at shooting pistols. And when I did a bunch of stints in the embassies in Mali and Swaziland and a couple of countries that I worked with the defense attaché. So while I was there doing defense attaché stuff, I was always in civilian clothes, and I had to be armed, you know. So, you know, of course I didn't have a weapon slung. I was usually carrying a sidearm. Mm-hmm. So that was a good part of that, hey, you know, it's where you're not always just have a primary. You got to carry that secondary a lot of times, and that is your primary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I know with you, Rick, and both with you, Mark, that becomes the one that you have mainly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It boils over, you know, you look at your clientele. Yeah. You try to target, you know, military, law enforcement, but again, that civilian community, what you're seeing, at least from my standpoint, especially with everything going on nowadays, is they want that handgun training.
Oh, yeah.
Because most states do have some type of concealed carry, and it's like, cool, I've got this pistol. Do I know how to use it or not how to use it? And, you know, you get some people that, I've shot all my life. Okay, cool. And you can't hit the broadside.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to stick that personally in my wallet going, hey, I've shot all my life as my life-saving tool.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, to each their own.
You know, and the demands just hasn't been there. I think the last time, I can't really remember the last time I was asked for a specific carbine class since PA. It's all been handgun.
Yeah.
And especially now, you know, there's a big push for, you know, like you said, Clint, the couples, the girls going off to college, you know, this is a big deal now. And that's what we're really seeing is the handgun one-on-one couples type thing, you know, private instruction that's really being driven here. And, you know, good for you for going out there and training the LE guys and giving them some training. Rick's done a couple classes. We're still trying to push that out and get some LE guys some training. So really appreciate that. The community really needs it. Rick brings up a good point. Sometimes they're not the easiest sell on what you're bringing to the table, but you're still out there doing it. So I really appreciate that, both of you. Yeah. We need it.
Yeah. One of the things, at least for me as being an instructor and knowing Rick and his background, one of the things that I even had a little bit of a problem initially, you got these guys with deep pockets, they got lots of cool Gucci gear. They come out there and you may, kind of look at them and go, hey, this guy looks like he knows one. Man, boy, I learned real quick, I don't care what you're wearing, and it really, it changed the way that I started training people, because what I would do was I would, first thing when I would get on the range, I would say, all right, here's what we're doing. Safety rules, any incidents, we have anything, medical stuff, cover that stuff right up front. But what we're going to do is we're going to run a little aggregate here, and this is what you're going to do. And then let them all shoot individually. Watch every single thing that they do. When they get done, you know exactly what level each one of those shooters is at.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the end, you shoot the same thing.
Yeah.
And when they look at your group, and they see how you shoot it, that usually dispenses with any of the ego. As long as you're the one that has the most time on the range and your proficiency is really high, because proficiency falls off. If you're not going to the range and you go, you're still like a bicycle, you can go out there and shoot pretty good, but that 3 times a week on the range, you can see it. But you get out there and shoot with some guys and they're like, whoa, whatever you're doing, I want to learn that, and you definitely leveled the playing field right off the bat when you get them out there and watch them shoot.
Oh, yeah.
But, Clint, the hardest thing that I have seen is trying to get guys to break old habits. So, like, one thing I try to harp is, hey, man, if you've always done, your technique and you come out here, you're going to get the same results. And I'll give you a prime example, a simple thing, so I've got an administrative way that I teach them how to load their guns, because that way, if they do it every time, it gives them a practice, draw from the holster, basically slide lock mag change, couple presentations, and the War HOGG check. Some people know it as a pinch check, but it's actually the War HOGG check. We're going to change the industry on that one.
Let's correct that right now, right?
Yeah. So, but I have guys that buck me on wanting to take 2 seconds, slide that slide back, and just go, hey, is there a round in the chamber or not? And it's like, dude, it's a simple life insurance policy. It costs you, if you're slow, 2 seconds. If you're proficient at it, a quarter second, half a second maybe, just to go, round in the chamber, good, and stick that thing back away in the holster.
Yeah, any instructor that starts off their day with, we're not going to do that, we're all professionals here, that's a good indicator. These guys need to know where the freaking tourniquets are. They need to know where the AEDs are. It's basic stuff. That tells me I don't want to bother with that. And that's when you have a learning curve right off the bat, when people are too good and look too good to be taught anything.
Those are things that we learn as a PCI. Hey, I'm just gonna let me do the insurance policy, give a little check, and put it away. And that's what I usually tell people when they get in a hurry, when we're getting ready to run through a little drill or something like that. This is your time before I say, shooter's ready. This is your time to make sure you don't look like a fool. I'm watching, I know what you're doing, but this is your chance to, when you draw and present, you don't pull the trigger and it goes click, and then you turn around and look at everybody like, ain't I a dummy?
Oh, man. Isn't that so good, though, when it happens and it's the guy that it's going to happen to? Yeah. Well, it's good learning. It's a good lesson. It's not good. Probably won't happen to him again, hopefully.
Yeah. And you do that a couple of times and you're around the right person. You're like, okay, I get why he's trying to show me this.
Right.
So, Clint, A-TACS stuff, what do we got kind of on the future, on the plate, on the horizon? I know the gear store's, up and running. That thing's pumping new products each day. As far as, A-TACS itself, what do you got anything on the horizon you can speak of? If not, we understand.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of them, of course, you and Mark know about, a lot of the guys that follow A-TACS. We had, brute force bags. Again, we're going back to now 3-4 months back. Things just kind of seized up a little bit. We had a lot of new products getting ready to come out. And of course, everybody in the industry, when they figured out they could make, a couple dollars on a mask, they just dropped everything.
Yeah.
They said, oh man, I got some government money here to make these masks. Everything's just hit the brakes. And I won't beat anybody up about that. I mean, of course, make it if you can, but I mean, whew, boy, that threw a real chink in the chain there for manufacturing. But there's a lot of the tactical industry right now that's making masks, because they were tooled up to manufacture things. And unfortunately, as we know, a lot of this manufacturing migrated overseas, and at this point, the small businesses pulled it out. That they could get out there and make these things, and we didn't have to wait for it to come over in a sea land container.
Yeah.
So, which was an eye opener. And I hope if there's anything that comes out of this whole virus thing, it's them saying we got to get some of this manufacturing back over here.
We should have had that. Oh, yeah. We should have had that for years ago, man. I mean, we were at one point, you think about back to World War II, 70 some odd years ago, we were a manufacturing giant. Yeah. I don't know what we can really manufacture nowadays because we outsource everything. And, to that point, I think this is a prime example. Yep, we've got a pandemic that kicks in, kind of everything overseas shuts down. We kind of got some global issues. Man, if we had our manufacturing right here in the States, if everything, if you go back to almost that World War II style template, would we have any dramas? I'd say probably not. I'd say things would be rolling just like they normally would be. But again, I got it. People are trying to make goods cheaper. But again, I would say, man, to me, I'm looking for that product that says made in the USA. I'll spend a couple extra bucks because I know for me, we're getting ready to manufacture stuff. And you know what? I can't, in good faith, with that flag behind me and everything I've done, look at myself in the mirror and know I'm going overseas somewhere to manufacture. Yeah. And, hopefully, the customers out there, once we finally launch our product line, will understand, hey, man, take some pride in seeing that flag on those products, support those businesses, support this country, support our own economic infrastructure, give people jobs, and buy American. So
I couldn't agree more. And let me tell you, again, retiring from the Army, coming out here and doing my own little thing for a while, but coming on and starting to work with A-TACS, man, I felt like I was pulling the curtain back and seeing the wizard, man. Because when I got here, I was like, holy smokes, we can't hardly we need to bring this stuff back because there's so much of it overseas. Mm-hmm. I don't want to name names really or any companies, but there is a massive amount, even in the firearms industry, the tactical industry, most of it's overseas. So a lot of times when I bring something in, either through the gear store, they're like, oh, this is from, over here. Yeah. Well, if you want it, that's where it's made, almost all of it. There are very, very few companies that are 100% Berry compliant, made in the USA. I see things, being claimed that it's made in the USA, that the deal. It's not all the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I agree with all that. And like I said, I think that you should, a few extra dollars for something, I'd like to see it made in the United States. And that's become, now seeing this from the other side, something I think is very necessary. We need to look, I don't want to get into too much of the election stuff, but I hope it keeps going the way that it's going. And we continue on the path that we're on, because we need to bring that stuff back. We've got to get this industry for national security. We can't have somebody say, we're not going to send that stuff over to you.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the next big thing for A-TACS?
I'll circle back around. I think that's almost the caveat on Rick's questions. What's new with us? What's happening? Mm-hmm. Like I said, things got a little off track. We had brute force bags. They've already been added to the website. Brute force was going to launch and is doing the bags. And that was great because that was something that stemmed out of the tactical games. They were a sponsor, we were a sponsor. And so we were able to talk to the guys up there. They added, some of the bags. They were going to do gym bags, kettlebells, the whole line of A-TACS products. Again, I think that they've gotten it's strange just how these what do they call the businesses that are essential businesses, everybody in the tactical industry right now, everyone I talk to is like, we're 75% up on manufacturing right now. I mean, it's ridiculous. They can't hardly get everything done. So that is with brute force bags. We had a whole line of high-speed gear, tacos coming out, belts coming out, plate carriers coming out with high-speed gear. That's still on the way, but again, kind of got the brakes pumped on it a bit. Gators eyewear, which was, I personally have always been a big Gators eyewear fan. I love the glasses. I've had tons of them. They ended up coming on as a sponsor with the tactical games, and was able to talk to them, and they've already done samples and everything in Ghost. The glasses look absolutely amazing. Yeah. So the Gators eyewear were supposed to come out, and it's in, last time I talked to them, it's still coming, but they had a couple other products ahead of that. There's a bunch of them. And some of them aren't coming to mind now, but that's 3 right there, right off the top of my head.
Yeah, because here's the thing I've noticed just for me trying to do manufacturing in the U.S., Clint, just getting your 2 cents on it. So when I initially kind of reached out, I went to a large manufacturer that was doing OEM stuff. Mm-hmm. But the problem was their turns was going to be like 12 plus weeks. Yeah. And I mean, for a small business to sit there and go, hey, I've got to wait 12 weeks to get product in, crazy. Yeah, that's tough. But now you start going to these smaller mom and pops, and this is what people don't understand in this country. The smaller mom and pops is what makes your money. Yeah. So you can find that mom and pop sew shop, for lack of better terms, that can still put out a good quality product, still have all the same machinery. Mm-hmm. Man, their turns are, a week, 2 maybe. Yeah. Because they're not looking to run, when you're dealing with the larger manufacturer, they've got their own product line they're trying to produce. And oh, by the way, the OEM's just a nicety. They'll get to it when they get to it. Well, if you're a small business, it almost doesn't make sense. Just trying to see, have you kind of seen the same thing with you guys and different manufacturing out there as well?
Yeah, we have. And, we get contacted all the time on the gear store. I just started to, this was a big deal for us because we have larger fabric converters that sell, MOQs or minimum order quantities of 5,000, 10,000 yards of fabric. But I have, my personal mission is I love working with any entrepreneur, veteran-owned small business that's coming out with a new product. So those guys call us and say, hey, I really like A-TACS. I have to be able to provide them cut goods because a lot of those veteran-owned small businesses cannot come in and foot the bill for a minimum order quantity that, a larger company, it's, well-funded, can come in and 10,000 yards, sure, load it up on the semi. Mm-hmm. These guys are coming in buying small cut goods. They get a product out there. It does well. And then they're like, hey, they're calling me back for cut goods until they, speed up. Those OEM companies, that's the second question. I'm making this thing. I've got this idea. Do you know anybody that OEMs, and even OEM companies are hard to find a good one? Yeah. Go ahead.
No, just saying the OEMs, I mean, they're great, but they're kicking you to the back of the bus.
Yes.
So again, number one, hat off to you for having the smaller quantities. Cause trust me, I've had to deal with companies, hey, I need to order something. Yep. That's 5,000. 5,000 is the magic min number for whatever reason. 5,000 yards, 5,000 feet, 5,000. I'm like, dude, you're killing me. So you're going to suck all my working capital just in, a raw good that now I can't even get manufactured. So for you to sit there and go, hey, you've got smaller quantities, dude, that should be the staple model across the board. Because again, it's the small business that gets this country running. And hey, I just need a little bit, like you said, get this thing up, running, launched. Once we start getting some traction, so I go for, 10 yards today, 20 yards tomorrow, 100 yards, 1,000 yards, it'll start building. But man, when you cut these guys at the knees to start, you're shafting everybody. So good on you for that, Clint.
They're definitely, I get contacted daily, guys are, hey, I'm seeing this thing over here. I like it a lot. I'd like to do this. And they are a lot of startup companies, and that's a great way to get a variety of products out there. most of these relationships that I've made through these small veteran-owned businesses, you know, their support, not only, you know, was I able to get them started, but now they're like, hey, you know, I'm doing well with A-TACS, you know, I'm just selling quick. And then, hey, you know, now that you're up and running, hey, can I add that thing? You know, you're selling it. Can I assist selling it over here on the gear store side? Because we have the name A-TACS, you know, when you go searching that in a search engine somewhere, they're going to end up a lot of times with me, and they're going to find out about that product first. They may not be able to find that other company that has it, you know, so that leads them not only to ordering some stuff through the gear store, but then introduces them to this new company.
Yeah, well, I know you support a lot of those small businesses, and, you know, and it kind of comes back, you know, full circle. What ends up happening is Mike from Zulu Ops, you know, he starts pushing out your stuff on social media. We do that as well, and it's a real good partnership. So good for you for doing that, because those guys really do drive a lot of the social media that we're getting, and it's just an awesome deal all the way around.
You know, I can't even, I don't even know where to start saying, you know, Tim Burke over at the Tactical Games, you know, I met him a few SHOT shows ago. You know, funny enough, we were up in the Hugh Hefner penthouse suite and ended up meeting him with Travis Roth from Mayflower Velocity Systems, stood there and talked to Tim for a while. And when, you know, I'd kind of had some of the same thoughts about the stress test kind of competition thing, you know, because that's exactly what I was doing within my tactical training, because I knew, you know, it's one thing to be able to fire a weapon and do it proficiently, but it's a whole nother thing to have a combat chassis that can back that up. You know, you've got to be able to run, jump, duck, weave, all that kind of stuff, and do it and not be breathing so hard you can't keep side alignment, you know. So when I saw the Tactical Games, I was like, man, that is our thing right there. I want to sponsor that, because tactical, that's what I wanted to get into. I wanted to be able to showcase A-TACS in a forum that I thought was, wow, these people are coming out to really test their mettle. They want to, you know, put their skills and their equipment to the test and see how they do. And through the Tactical Games, you know, I've met Mark, I've met you, Rick, I've met, you know, Mike down at Zulu Ops. Again, this business and relationships just beget better business.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I think with that, you know, Mike Green, Chris Alvarez, JP Cervantes, I mean, it's like all of a sudden you get the SF community. And that's the crazy thing is, granted, the majority of us came from 7th Group, and it's almost like there's poor Clint, the outcast at 3rd, but we won't hold that against you, brother. But
you know, the funny thing was when I went through language school, I was a Spanish speaker. I thought for sure I was going to 7th Group. You know, and then I go up there for my sergeant major's board meeting, and hey, we got a shortage of weapons guys over in 3rd Group. You know, I was like, oh my, you're kidding,
man. Yeah,
it's like, you're kidding me.
Yeah, you know, I think you and Mike, you know, between 3rd and 5th, because we bust Mike's chops as well. But the beauty is, at the end of the day, you know, it's that camaraderie of the SF brotherhood that really, hey man, I got it. What can I do to help Clint? Can Clint do to help me? You know, help Mark, help whoever, and that's truly business. So people go, and it goes back to kind of your first thing, talking about relationships, man. When you harness those relationships, when you have those industry partners that, oh, by the way, it's a reciprocal relationship where it's just not always, hey Clint, gimme, dude, that gets old. Nobody wants that. Here's a guy, could be an option for you. Send an email, hands off. Hey, whatever you guys do, that's your business. You know, and I just think that's a good way to do business. And if more guys would do that, especially in the firearms community, man, guys are so cutthroat. Want to sit there and downplay each other. Hey, your gear stinks. Hey, his instruction stinks. Hey, dude, how about you worry about yourself? Quit wasting time smashing other people.
I'll tell you what, man, I'm the first guy that wants to be sitting on the beach with a fruity adult beverage under an umbrella. You know, I want to be there, but I'll tell you what, it's not all about the money to me. You know, it just isn't. You know, taking care, when these guys call me up and say, hey, you know, I was in a veteran over here, or I'm a former Marine, or I'm a this, or I'm a that, you law enforcement guys, you know, that's the community that it's funny because I not long ago I was looking through my contacts, the people that I've got on social media, and it's like, Jesus, you know, there's 98% people on here that are all veteran law enforcement people on my contacts. Boy, it's not that I try to do it. That's just the company that I keep.
Yeah. Hey, good company to keep.
Yeah. So, and being able to do this and work with A-TACS has been, I really, really enjoyed it. It's opened a lot of things up to me. Got to do lots of great things. I've loved my time in the military. I was, you know, really ready for it to be over. Really. I look back every day and would go back and do it again. But now with what I'm doing, I enjoy it as well. And I apply the same ethics that I had then to this and take care of the people that take care of me.
Well, you've been doing a lot for a lot of these small businesses, including ours, and we really appreciate it. And you're something to look up to and model how we do business, and I've really appreciated meeting you, and I got to thank Rick for that and all the other guys that I've met during this time. So really appreciate that. We thank you for doing this with us. So what's the best way of getting hold of you, either if it's just an entrepreneur or it's going to be someone looking to make a purchase with your new store up and running?
Yeah, I'm easy to find. You know, you can jump on the A-TACS website. My bio's on there, my contact information's. My phone's always on, although most of these guys will know if you're not in my contact list on my phone, it usually goes right to the voicemail. Hey, you leave a message and say, hey, Rick Hogg told me to give you a call. You know, you'll get a call back as soon as I listen to the message. Yeah. You know, robocalls. You know, if you're looking to do some business with us, you're going to get a hold of us. We're easy to get a hold of. So either the A-TACS website, the A-TACS Gear Store site. Like I said, my number's on there. You can get a hold of me. You want to get product, finished goods, raw goods. You know, I'm there to help, you know, everybody, but mainly, you know, our veteran law enforcement community. That's what I hold dear.
What about your social stuff, Clint? Where you all at on social?
Oh boy, you know, I do just about all of it. You know, I'm not much of a big social media guy. It's one of those things we got to do to reach out, stay in contact. So on all the usual suspects, Instagram, Facebook, you know, I'm on LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm not too hard to find. Most people, they'll come wandering in our building here if they know where to find us.
Now, are you the photographer?
Photographer for most of our social media.
Yeah. Do you do all that? I know. I've heard you talk about it when you're on your way out and you're traveling. You like to stop and get some good shots.
Oh man.
Because I tell you what, whoever's doing that is doing a bang up job. You got some great photos on that social media.
Yeah, you know, really the social media thing. A-TACS was kind of in one place when I first came in, and there's just a certain lens that we see things through when you've lived that life. You know, anybody can watch a movie and pick up some stuff, but there's a certain way we wanted to present A-TACS. There was a certain direction that we wanted to go. And, Philip Duke here at A-TACS, he was a marketing guy as well as a camouflage designer. So he had a keen eye, but really when it came down to the realism, he looked at me and said, is this the way this is supposed to look?
Yeah.
And that's really most of the photography that we do is a collaboration. I have recently started getting into a lot more photography because that's something that I wanted to learn myself. A lot of time it's out of necessity. I see something and boom, right now I'm going to take the picture. So I kind of school myself up a little bit on the photography and the marketing. So yeah, I
remember I took a picture of my kit in the snow and I thought, man, that's an awesome picture. I go to Clint's website and there's a team in Zodiacs with all kinds of stuff zooming down it looks like the Delta, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh yeah. I'm way out of my league, my game.
But here's the thing, Clint. I got to ask you, who recorded the motorcycle jump off the loading dock?
Yeah, was that you?
At the shop?
Yeah, that was me. If you've seen the video, I literally was sitting here going, you know, I want to reach out to our buyers and, you know, tell them that we're getting their orders and we're getting them out to them as quick as we can. And I got this damn dirt bike sitting in here, you know, let's put something together, you know, and I think I jumped off of that loading dock 19 times to get the right shot. doing wheelies across the parking lot and stuff. And that little video came together pretty good. It was fun, but
that's just like when you're talking to a client and you say, "Yeah, I'm all over it. I'm not going to rest until I get this order out." And then on your social media, they're doing donuts in the parking lot. Yeah,
let me tell you, we had a follow. We haven't done it yet, but we had a follow up to that video. And when I get in the right spot, we're going to do that.
That was
one.
Awesome.
Yeah, the dirt bike thing was fine.
It wouldn't be a nice Evel Knievel landing now, would it?
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm in total agreement. We need an Evel Knievel statue.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, every Sunday morning, I loved watching that skier freaking tumble down that ramp.
Oh yeah. And then the beginning of the sports thing. Yeah.
Wild World of Sports.
Wild World of Sports, right?
Man. Yeah, the agony of defeat.
Oh, yeah.
Bam, boy, I know the agony of defeat, man. So I felt that pain. But I'll tell you what, every time I think I watch that guy jump something, I was just, a little kid just thinking, wow, how cool is that?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is just willing to risk it for us.
Every single time, man. And me and Mark were talking about that. It's like, think about it. You got one of two things. I'm either going to succeed gracefully or I'm going to crash with such vigor that people are just going to be like, how did he walk away from it?
Oh, no.
I mean, unbelievable.
I'll tell you what, as much as, each year we go out to Las Vegas out there and, walk up and down the strip and look at that craziness or whatever. And that last time that Pastrana jumped over the fountains there, man, I wished I could have watched that because, boy, that Evel Knievel, when he would jump stuff, he had a motorcycle that didn't have any suspension on it.
No. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing.
He was just asking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So
still kept coming back for more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree about the statue thing. There's some other ones. We'll bring those up later.
We'll have to find some other ones. So.
Well, I know. I appreciate you guys having me on here. You've had some great guests. I'm really excited. Whenever I have a chance, and Rick's through here in town, and we sit down and talk, and Mark when we're down at the games and seeing each other, supporting the community. Thanks so much for having me on. Like I said, for anybody that's looking for me, I'm not hard to find. A-TACS Gear Store, any of the other camouflage brands, Raider, Next, whatever. If you need something, need some help, I'm always willing to jump out.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for your service. Really appreciate you coming on doing this with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Clint. Appreciate it, pal.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, buddy.
Thanks.